girls, Happy New Year and welcome to this week's lecture. We're actually going to kick things off with a little bit of a bump update because I've had quite a few requests for it. So
I'll show you my bump as well.
I'll make the screen a little bit bigger here, or you can go full screen if you want.
Okay.
But I am 25 and a half weeks now, pregnant with Bub, so he will be here. I mean, he'll come when he comes, but he's scheduled to be here in less than 15 weeks.
Yes, scary,
mid-April.
Scary times.
No, exciting times.
Exciting times.
Yeah, so we are actually in the process now of starting to buy little bits and pieces for him. So I just wanted to say a huge shout out to Caroline for sending me the most comprehensive, but also minimalist list of everything that we need to get for Bub. It has been an absolute game changer, so thank you so much.
Yeah, it's been great. And thank you to everyone who's given us tips and some guidance, I suppose, and what we can expect for the next few months.
Yeah, let's just say we'll probably be coming to you girls with a lot of questions as this journey does progress on. We're very lucky we have a lot of mums on the team.
Okay, so this is actually quite timely. Flow motivation. That's the lecture we're going to dive into today. This is bridging the gap between identity shifting, so identity shifting workshop, what we call designing your hero vision, your hero experience goal, which is something that we'll have mentioned to a few of you girls, which is basically think about your photo shoot as being your hero experience goal, or your wedding, or whatever is that experience you're working towards here on the program, and bridging that with the 24-hour focus exercise and giving you real practical ways of unlocking the state of being where the change process simply feels effortless. And we don't want you to kind of feel here that you're always in this fight for change, this fight against resistance to change.
You call it chase mode.
Yeah, exactly. So what we're trying to put you into a position here with this lecture is giving you really practical mindset tips that you can use to unlock this simple, effortless state of execution. So, what is flow motivation?
So flow motivation is a state of being where the daily actions required to achieve your goals feel natural and almost effortless. Unlike classic motivation, which often relies on external triggers or short bursts of willpower, flow motivation is internal and self-sustaining, and it's really derived from true alignment. So instead of feeling like you're forcing yourself to take action, what flow motivation does is it uses Neuro-Association to create mental conditions where taking action feels like the only rational choice that you have. It's something that you just truly, truly want to do on a day-to-day basis. And this is what allows your progress to happen smoothly. And as Ewan was saying, it really does take away the resistance that can come up when we are, on the journey to achieving something amazing.
Yeah, and so flow motivation is kind of the opposite of how you feel when you have fitness trauma and when you have this baggage associated with the change process. So when you think about getting in amazing shape, being in amazing shape, getting lean, building muscle, a lot of us, the first thing that comes up in our mind is a vision of pain, a vision of struggle, a vision of sacrifice, restriction, hardship. And ultimately, it's a vision of pain that usually comes up. And the reason that we've had yo-yoing in the past, or the reason we've never had long-term effortless commitment to exceptional levels of fitness, and when we talk about exceptional levels of fitness and body composition, what we mean is being an exception to normality, right? So if you look around at everyone you're surrounded by, you're aiming for a body composition result that is above and beyond the normal expectations for people. It's a higher standard.
It's exceptional.
Yeah, so what we're looking at doing is saying, how can we achieve that in a place where it just feels truly aligned with our identity, the lifestyle we want to live, and we can't think of taking any other action apart from the actions that are required to achieve that goal.
That's the key.
So why do we love it? What is flow motivation all about?
So one reason why we love it is because it unlocks a new level in life. So flow motivation helps you to break free from stagnation and comfort zones, allowing you to consistently evolve and grow in life towards higher standards, even when it feels scary or hard, which anytime you are stepping outside of your comfort zone, those feelings will naturally arise.
Yeah.
Another reason, oh, sorry.
Oh, no, yeah, I was going to say, and that's really what it's like. The exercises we're going to give you is we're going to show you how scary or hard is just neuro-association. We're just associating these actions in an emotional way where now we're getting emotional. We're basically having thoughts that are leading to an emotional state of this is going to be scary, so don't do it, or this is going to be exceptionally hard, so don't do it, right? And that's what we're going to actually be replacing it with, which is it's scarier to not do it, and it's harder
to not do it.
That's really what we're trying to get to, a point of being. So it eliminates resistance, because as soon as the pain is behind you, right? As soon as you got that little fire under your bum that's actually moving you towards your goals, everything becomes so much easier. And that's really what we call the right mental conditions. So we're going to teach you how to actually craft and curate and design the right mental conditions to unlock flow motivation.
Yeah, and I love what we've wrote here, where it's like you no longer dread the growth tasks or procrastinate on them. You actually want to do them. Like you're like, I'm strangely feeling excited to be doing this. So, and then the other thing is that it prevents plateaus. So flow motivation prevents you from staying stuck in the same self-limiting routines for too long. So this can be body weight plateaus in a fat loss phase. For example, if we keep it specific to the goals that you girls are working on here, what we want to do is we want to tap into flow motivation so that we can level up our actions, we can level up our execution and our standards so that we keep on making progress and we avoid these plateaus.
Yeah, it also enhances, as we said, the enjoyment of the process. So your fitness journey and life becomes a lot more fulfilling when you approach tasks with energy, excitement, and a positive vision of the future.
It's so important.
Like no one complains about going to Disney World, right? If you say we're going to Disney World and you're taking a full day off work tomorrow, everyone's going to be like amazing, and they're going to.
And if they did, you probably wouldn't want to be around that person,
now,
right?
The person that doesn't want to go to Disney World is going to be like, it's going to be busy, it's going to be hot, it's going to be expensive.
They have a negative
and they're
vision.
going to have a negative vision of what that's going to curate, and therefore their energy is going to be low in the process or in the chase of that goal, in the pursuit of that goal. So that's the thing you've got to understand. It's the thought is deriving the emotional state, which is deriving the action, which is deriving the result.
And if you guys think about any time you've experienced that feeling of like excitement and high energy, you always take positive action and you always feel good while doing so. And that's what flow motivation is all about.
Okay, it drives long-term progress. So flow motivation keeps you moving forward, right? The idea is by positioning a little bit of pain behind your bum, and like giving you that little whip to hit yourself with, but then also laying out these incredible treats and pleasure in front of you, you just tap into this limbic side of your brain, this deep subconscious area of your brain that is literally just centered around survival. It's saying, well, there's pain there and there's pleasure there. I'm going to move away from pain towards pleasure. And
we really do have to have both.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, we all at every moment in our life do have both, even if we're unconscious to it.
Yeah. So it's like, for example, there will be some days where you tap into one more than the other. There will be some days where you're doing your visualization and you're just feeling so excited for that positive vision of the future. And then you'll have other days where you're like, actually, I think I need to tap into a little bit more of the pain here.
Yeah.
Like I need to really think about that little fire under my bum and like use that to drive me forward today. And that's what we want to teach you girls, is how to tap into both to keep you moving forward.
Yeah, and then ultimately that leads to faster progress and faster results. So when you consistently engage in high quality workouts, prioritize sleep, and follow your nutrition plan without resistance, results obviously come faster, right?
Results.
We all know that really the thing that holds us back from being billionaires with abs and exceptional relationships and just like having that incredible level to life is probably not a lack of knowledge, and it's probably not a lack of information. We have unlimited access to information and knowledge now. What we need to have, though, is knowledge and information around how to put ourselves in an environment, a personal environment that we can craft and curate ourselves, that is not dictated by external circumstances and external situations in order to execute. And the best way that I like to think about classic motivation is I have this external circumstance, this external situation that's forcing me now into a pain or pleasure situation.
It's forcing you to take action.
So you're reliant on that circumstance, right? that's the thing we're trying to remove. We're trying to say, can I use my mind, can I use my brain to craft and curate that shift in pain and pleasure so that I don't have to wait for external circumstance to inspire me to take action. So that's really what this lecture is all about. So let's go into the actual practical application. How to install flow motivation into this area of your life, meaning your body recomposition journey.
Yeah, so step number one is honestly my favorite step here, which is to identify current flow motivation areas. So what this means is you want to look at your life and you want to write down areas of your life where you already experience flow motivation. So this will be non-negotiable habits and tasks and things that you already do on a daily basis that you have absolutely no resistance to. So we've put some examples here. It can be brushing your teeth, going to work, taking care of your kids, not cheating on your loved one. These are all things that you're like, oh yeah, like I'm just in flow when I do those things. I don't have any resistance. They're just a part of my way of living.
Yeah, and we want to build up as many of these as possible in our mind. We want to show ourselves evidence
that we already have it in other areas of our life. It's not something that we're, starting from scratch with. All we're doing is we're now going to pull that into this specific area.
And this is an interesting one because we've heard this in many consultation calls. We've been doing a lot of consultation calls this week, and clients will say, like, I want to get in the best shape of my life and I want to get in great shape because I want to show myself I can do hard things, or I want this to spill into every other area of my life and to make every other area of my life better. And although that's true, what it does is it gets us into a kind of scarcity mindset where we're saying, I need this thing, and then with this thing I'll have all of these other things, right?
Yeah, it's like you're starting from zero is what it feels like.
Exactly. But what we're going to do is we're going to shift it, we're going to flip it, and we're going to say, actually, where in my life right now do I actually have flow motivation, effortless execution, and effortless success? And you do have that. You have that in so many areas. I don't care if it's like you wake up, you brush your teeth, and you put on your clothes. That is flow motivation. You have that in that small area. And all you've got to do now is take that same basically state of being, state of mindset, and apply it to the areas that you're
write it
wanting
down,
to
like
look.
while you're watching this video, literally just like pause it and just write it down and go, where do I have all of these? Where do I have flow motivation in other areas
and
of
you'll
my
know
life?
you have it when you have an action that you repeat effortlessly day after day. This could also be, and without going deeper, this could be past negative addictions that you've had, right? Things that you found effortlessly, even though they're not beneficial to you by second or third or fourth degree consequence, they are things that you've found effortless to actually implement. And the reason we want to write that down is because then we can say, well, my brain's already got the power here to do this. I just need to redirect it. And once you redirect the power, everything clicks. So the second thing is understanding the why. So understanding why do you have flow motivation in these areas, and why do these areas feel effortless to you?
So, and you want to understand this from two sides. You want to say, what is the desire that drives me to do this, right? So where's the pleasure from taking this action? And also on the opposite side, well, what's the pain? What's the pain that's associated with not doing it? So if I brush my teeth in the evening, I have the pleasure of going to bed with clean teeth. Whereas if I don't, I have the pain of going to bed and having dirty teeth and feeling gross.
And not getting a kiss from me. That's really the deep pain that you're experiencing.
Yeah, totally.
So
write down both of those things for each action that you've listed.
Yeah, right. So those are the things you're trying to uncover, is that there's always a pain motivator and always a pleasure motivator for these actions that you have flow motivation for.
Yeah.
Now what we're going to do is we're then going to transfer this to your fitness goal. Now, as we mentioned, the hero experience statement goal is something that we've been kind of tapping into many of you with on the program. If you've been on the program for a long period of time, you'll have already done this. We just won't have made it as much of a framework before. So this is what we call the statement where you're writing down your vision goal, and you're going to say, I will experience this situation, right? So I will experience being 16 to 18% body fat at a photo shoot, right? So like that's the situation. And then it's like at this time on May 31st in this place at Noosa Beach here, and I'm going to feel confident and proud of myself and content and aligned and happy and joyous and peaceful, right? So you write this down and you write this statement down. That becomes your vision goal. That's what we call the hero experience vision goal. And what we're using that experience vision goal for is to integrate an identity of self, integrate this hero version of yourself in a situation experience. And we're basically getting all of the aspects of a vision goal there. It's like, it's on this date, it's at this place, this is the situation, and this is how I feel. So once you have that experience in place, you're now going to do two things. You're going to dream up that vision. You're going to see it. You're going to write down the statement, and then you're going to see it happening.
Don't skip this one.
Yeah. So first, visualize this happening, and the success you feel. And what we want to do is create a strong emotional sense of connection to what happens when you do achieve this. Like, what would it feel like to literally have that at the highest level, at the best it could be?
Yeah. How does your life feel?
Yeah. Right. That day, that moment, drum it up. What's it going to be like? This is your vision. This is the compelling vision that's going to drive you forward. This is your pleasure marker. This is the thing that you're going to get.
It's what you're moving towards every day.
Now, a lot of people will stop there. We like to come from that place. We like to get all of you to a place where you are inspired by a positive, compelling future of the vision.
You girls will know that, like, most interactions that you have with us, like, this is the place that we're coming from. We're always like, what do you want to achieve? Like, how is this going to change your life? Like, we do very much come from that that pleasure aspect when we're talking about your goals. But we also want to really start practicing visualizing the opposite, right? So once we visualize the pleasure, we then want to visualize failure, right? Imagine failing. Imagine what it would feel like to not follow through. Like, picture the regret that you would have and the lack of progress there. And like, this can be quite a challenging thing to do, but just open yourself up to it. Just like, let all of those emotions come in and visualize it. Like, close your eyes and be like, okay, how would I actually feel if I didn't take action and achieve this? If I truly failed, how would that impact my life?
Yeah.
Right? Like, just take 5 minutes to go through that and write it down. And
what we're also going to add here, and this isn't written down, is if you want to take this even one step further, is use what we call the rocking chair visualization. Imagine yourself as 80, 90 years old and looking back on your life. And that experience goal here, the success experience goal, imagine you did it. And you were like, wow, you're looking at a photo of yourself at that photo shoot, and you're like, I did it, this is how I felt, and you're just seeing that.
Grandma crushed it.
Exactly. And then imagine sitting in a rocking chair, looking back, and a different photo being in front of you, a photo where you're in bed, you are not aligned with your body composition. And I'm just going to go very straight to the point here. You're overweight. You are not eating in alignment with nourishing your body.
Not taking care of yourself.
Not taking care of yourself. You're not training consistently. And you're looking at a photo there and you never changed that. How would you feel at 80 to 90 years old?
What would that regret actually feel like? How would that impact you?
These two, what you're going to see is you're going to have two emotional states come up. You're going to have one that's going to feel painful and one that's going to feel very pleasurable. This is what we're doing. We're hacking our Neuro-Association. So this we call it the heaven and hell visualization. What it does is it strengthens your association with the benefits.
The long-term benefits.
The long-term impact and benefit, the actual significant effect that the daily process that we're about to embark on is going to have on our life. And without that vision, without clearly communicating to ourselves and to our subconscious brain that this has consequence. There is a first-degree consequence when I have a glass of wine, which is, oh, it's a really nice glass of wine. I get to socialize with friends. But there's a second, third, fourth-degree consequence that will play out over the next 6 months, over the course of the next year, and over the course of the next 50, 60, 70 years that will actually affect your life. And a lot of us take decisions from a first-degree consequence. Too much. We don't actually look at the second, third, fourth-degree consequence. And anyone who's successful will be in an exceptional way, like you girls are wanting to be.
Focused, but in a positive way.
Exactly. So they're going to be putting this, they actually skip the first degree consequence and they usually move to the second, third, fourth degree
that's a very
consequence.
important point. I love that.
Okay, so next we're going to pair these emotional state, this emotional state of being, the success vision and the failure vision, this really grandiose success and failure vision with the 24-hour focus exercise. So So, as you'll notice here, this is the part that everyone's kind of like, okay, I have my vision and I have my 24-hour focus exercise. This is what we're trying to do. We're trying to show you that linking, that these two two pieces of the puzzle. This is what personal development really is.
Yeah.
It's about taking vision, taking this heaven idea, this vision of who you can be, this vision of your absolute best in life and your potential, and being able to relate it to the next decision, next choice you make. Okay, so what we're doing now is we're going to associate the tasks and action steps at hand today with either being aligned with the heaven or the hell outcome.
Yeah, definitely. So what we want to do here is when we write out our 24-hour focus exercise, which if you haven't listened to that lecture, make sure that you go and listen to it. It is probably the most watched lecture in the program. But once you've written that out and you have your specific targets there that you need to tick off to move forward, what you then want to do is you want to align every single positive action that you've written down with your heaven, right? So you want to start visualizing, okay, cool, like I can see myself doing this tomorrow, and I can see the long-term impact that tomorrow, or today if you're doing it in the morning, has, right? And then you want to then visualize the opposite. So say, okay, well, if I don't do these things, if I, decide to skip the gym, if I decide to not be accurate with my nutritional targets, if I don't go for that walk and get my steps in, like, how does that then lead me to hell? Yeah. Right? Like, that's what you want to be thinking, because then it becomes so much more than just choosing to not hit your nutrition targets for that day, or choosing to say, oh, well, I won't go for that walk, I'll just do it tomorrow. Like, you're like, no, like, I don't want to go to hell. Like, I want to go to heaven here. And you can really start to use pain and pleasure to just raise your standards and make way better decisions on a day-to-day basis that feel aligned, right? When I do this, I'm like, yes, like I feel so good doing this, and all of the resistance does fall away. Yeah. And then what we want to do is take the emotions from the visions and attach these emotions to the action. So that's basically going to give you that feeling that I just spoke about, where you just have high energy, you have excitement for the day, and you're like, yeah, like I'm pumped to like get the best results possible. And
this is where flow motivation will start to be unlocked. You will start to see that, a 500 calorie breakfast with 40 grams of protein coming from whole food nourishing sources, long term is me wearing a bikini with abs, feeling my absolute best. And you're like, well, of course I'm going to eat that meal because that's what I'm getting from it.
And you wouldn't want to do anything else. Like, that is the difference. Like, when you are in true flow motivation, like, let's say I'm having my breakfast, my 500 whole food calorie breakfast. If you and then puts anything else in front of me that isn't in alignment with my 24-hour focus exercise and my heaven, I will look at that and be like, I don't want it. I want this. I want the decision that I'm making, because I have so much pleasure attached to that, and anyone could put anything in front of me and I wouldn't want it. And that's where we want you girls to get to, is you're like, this is the life I want to live. These are the actions that I want to take. And if given the option, I don't want to do anything else.
And I've been trying this with Micah. My desire for Micah is for her to do her dishes. There's a little pan there in the sink. So every time Micah's dish is in the pan, or dishes are in the pans in the dish washer thing, it hasn't been washed, I come up behind her and I just give her a little pinch.
No, you're not allowed to do that anymore.
Yeah, so what this does is it associates pain and negativity with the pan being in there.
So am I allowed to do that with you? Because Ewan does this thing where whenever he showers, he will fold his towel up into 4 and then pop it on the hanger. I'm like, that will never dry. You've 10 years we've been
no
together.
Consequences, because then I can use Micah's towel and that will be dry because she hangs up. So as you can see, we have some work to do on this ourselves, and therefore we're both.
Does anyone else's husband do that?
Yeah. So we need to visualize what that positive outcome is going to be and the negative outcome, and then
that's our task for today.
Yes. Now, as we look at the short term, though, you will be like, okay, so a 500 calorie breakfast of kind of egg white omelette with some smoked salmon and some vegetables, right? But there's a beautiful croissant with jam and butter in front of me. I want that instead. And that's what we've got to really start to think about, is like, okay, now let's start to picture a visualization of ourselves being at the beach in our bikini, feeling the best we've ever felt, feeling lean, feeling strong. And then on the short term being like, well, what would what would alignment of decision making look like right now? It would likely be that you don't absolutely abstain from the croissant. You maybe have 50 calories of croissant with a bit of jam and butter. You taste it, you're like, this is absolutely incredible. Pleasure goes up in that moment in time, and you have your high quality breakfast of protein and fat.
Or you decide to have it on another day. So maybe you're like, actually today, you know, I'm wanting to hit more of the hard deck of my deficit calories today, but I really would like to have a piece of croissant. So I'm just going to schedule that for my refuel day.
Yeah.
And you factor it in. Like, there's so many ways to be able to make it work.
Yeah, so that's the idea. It's like we're pulling in that alignment, but it's all from a place of alignment, and that's where flow motivation is ultimately unlocked. You're not feeling that you're acting against resistance, and you're not feeling like the choice you're making is a difficult, hard, painful
It's not
choice.
a sacrifice. You're not making a sacrifice.
Yeah,
you actually want to do it.
You associate more pain with not doing it.
Yes.
Okay, so bonus tips. How can we also add a little bit more extra to this on a daily basis? The first one is create immediate rewards from positive aligned action. So after completing a workout or hitting your 500 calorie breakfast with 40 grams of protein, right? A nourishing macro target meal like that, reflect on how you feel in that moment.
Yeah.
When you're successfully acting in alignment with this dream vision goal, pause for 5-10 seconds, put your hand on your heart, take a deep breath. How do I feel? Wow, you're going to feel feelings. Oh, guess what? When you say, when I'm in my bikini and I have abs and everything, you say, I feel confident, I feel proud, I feel these incredible positive emotions. How do you feel when you hit that meal? You probably feel confident. You probably feel proud. You probably feel joyful and peaceful and happy in that moment. That's what we're trying to build up.
Allow yourself to feel those emotions with these actions.
Exactly. So you're pulling in the positive emotional state of the result-focused outcome.
Don't just like brush it off and just be like, oh, you know, I just ate it. Like, actually, like, take a moment to be like, yes, how does this make me feel? Because then the more positive emotions and ultimately thoughts you create, the more likely you're going to keep repeating that action because it feels so good.
Positive reinforcement. So you're reinforcing the reward immediately by acknowledging the positive emotions tied to the action.
Yeah.
The second one is track progress and celebrate the mini milestones. So you'll see this in the gym with how we set up your training, right? Aim for the mini goals, not just the big goals. So if you want to deadlift 100 kilos or you want to do 5 weighted chin-ups, of course, you're going to feel this amazing like vision of what that's going to represent and how that would be. However, what we want to do is we want to take that positive emotion, we want to attach it to the smallest micro incremental goal.
Yeah, you get one extra rep, celebrate it. You know, you get better technique, celebrate it. You go up by a little bit of load, celebrate it.
So really, really reflect and celebrate on positive action. One of the things that we notice with very driven women like yourselves who are on the program is that you've been taught to never celebrate yourselves and taught to never tell yourselves that you're doing fucking awesome. And I think the reason is because, and I've spoken to a lot of you one-to-one on this, there's this idea of what we call negatively fueled emotional motivation, which is where you basically say, if I let myself tell myself that I'm doing very well, I'm going to relax. I'm going to take my foot off the gas. I'm not going to be motivated. I'm not going to work as hard. Exactly. Yeah. And that means that you're a little bit too much in the pain motivational vision. So play around with a bit more of pleasure, where you're going, how you're going to
have more of a balance,
improve your life in that sense. And the second thing is look backwards and come from a place of growth from abundance, meaning that if you write down a goal that you have, make sure you've written down 10 goals that you've already achieved. This is a very powerful exercise. So if you want to get in the best shape of your life and you want to get to 16% body fat and you want to be lean, write down, wow, I graduated from high school. I got this job when I was part of a lot of candidates going for this job. All of these successful things that you've already done, show yourself that you're a very successful person and you're just redirecting this state of being into this other area.
It's a good brain hack. Very good brain hack.
Okay, so celebrate milestones and track progress so you can see the milestones and evidence-based milestones. It's not like I just feel better today. It's like I did get a quantifiable extra rep on my leg press. I should celebrate that because that is showing me that I'm progressing.
Or I'm another pound down. Yeah.
And then finally is just using the 24-hour focus exercise for the way it's designed to be used, which is visualizing daily success and then comparing that to daily failure every single morning and every single evening and morning.
Yeah, so what you want to be doing here with the, like, to be specific with the visualization, is you want to close your eyes and imagine completing your workout or all of the other tasks that you've written down for that day, but you've completed them with ease and excitement. So there's been a lot of positivity there, and you know, there will be certain words that like resonate with you girls. Like the words here are just words that resonate with us. We want you girls to think about the emotions and the feelings and the words that really resonate with you, right? It might be you do it feeling very calm. You know, you go throughout your day feeling very peaceful, or, you know, you have a lot more energy while you're doing these tasks day to day. And that's what you want to get specific on. And then you then want to picture the opposite. So really start to think, how am I going to feel if I do skip that workout? How am I going to feel if I don't decide to hit my nutrition targets? Like, really reflect on the discomfort and the future regret that you will have by not taking action on ultimately the things that you said that you would do. And that's, you know, I like to do it in the sense where I visualize myself tomorrow. So I'm waking up in the morning and I'm looking back on the day that's just gone past, and I'm like, did I live in a way that makes my future better or my future worse, right? Because when we show up for our future selves, you will always know what the right action to take is.
Yeah, so flow motivation, to conclude, is about letting go of the idea you have to force actions, force yourself to climb up this resistance-fueled hill in order to achieve your goals. And it's about reframing the choices that you're making to align with the dream outcomes you ultimately want in life. It's like, I want to feel pleasure and I want to avoid pain as much as possible. These actions actually move me away from proper long-term pain and towards true long-term pleasure. And then also hacking your brain even further and saying, and even in the short term, they give me pleasure and they help me avoid pain. If you can balance those two, if you can see that future vision of yourself, the pain and pleasure, as we mentioned, of achieving it or not achieving it, and also have pain and pleasure boundaries set up for the day. So you're like, well, eating a nourishing meal makes me feel great. My digestion's awesome.
It's like the macro and the micro, right?
Exactly.
Like you're thinking about, yes, the long-term vision and the future, but then you're also thinking about the short term of, well, how am I going to feel in the next 24 hours?
Yeah.
And that's what we love about this exercise, is you're balancing both.
And the last thing I'll mention is, like, this is already happening. You're already doing this. We're just making you conscious of it.
Yeah.
So when you're not acting in alignment, what's happening is you have too much of pain associated with your goals and with the actions associated with your goals.
With the process.
And you don't have enough pleasure associated with it. So it's actually, what we're doing is we're just basically stacking the scales in your favor, and we're flipping what's already there. So if you've got resistance,
Mind hacking you.
yeah, we're mind hacking ourselves, right? That's really what we're doing, and we're learning how to do that. We're learning how to create a mind hack process that, once practiced and installed, we can use for any area of life that we're looking to
Mindset
improve.
is absolutely everything.
And so understand how action, feel effortless, and others are met with resistance. We can reprogram our brain to associate with that, right? We can reprogram our brain to associate with that in implementation of the goals that we have.
So what to do, girls, once you've listened to this, is complete the above journaling exercise. So go back up to here, where we've actually got the exercise where you identify where you have flow motivation in other areas of your life. You then write down the why behind, like, why do you have this effortless action in these areas? And then transfer it to your hero goal. Transfer that flow state to the vision goal that you've set here on the program. And then we want to start pairing that every single day with your 24-hour focus exercise. So that's the actionable step to do after listening to this.
And then here is just the links for the identity shifting lecture and the 24-hour focus exercise, which are the kind of main two that are going to help you create that vision, create that persona, create that character of hero that you're basically working towards. And this is our job as your coaches, is to help you become that person and help you live those days.
Give you the best plan possible.
So that is Flow Motivation, the SOP.
Comment below, like, let us know how you girls found this lecture and how you experienced going through the exercise as well.
Cool. All right. Have an amazing one, and we'll see you in the next lecture.
See ya.